You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Are you fucking it up again?
Just doing the thing, man. We're here. Just doing the thing. So yeah, I mean, we're here. It's Sunday morning. My name's Nick. There's always a lot to talk about, and I don't even know. I mean, we're going to have just a bunch of shit about SmackDown and Raw and NXT and AEW, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about Full Gear because a couple of these dudes weren't fucking here last week. But yeah, we'll get all into that. But first, a word from our sponsor.
This episode of Breaking Down the Ring is brought to you by Chawla Legal Group Estate Planning. Estate planning is for everyone. Whether you're worth $4,000 or $40 million, estate planning can help protect you, your family, and your assets while you're alive and well. Damn. To register for an upcoming workshop today, go to chawlalegal.com/workshops or call 586-273-7157. Again, that's chawlalegal.com/workshops or call 586-273-7157.
I'm going to go back into it.
What the rock is cooking?
So, just to recap, we are here on Sunday. There was a little bit of a technical difficulty, so for those of you that might not have heard my, ridiculous, shitty intro, I'm making up for it now. Sunday morning, there's no All Mikey one. I'm your host yet again with a couple of these guys that are actually showing up this week, and I'm really excited about it. But, we got a lot to talk about, and, stay tuned because there's just a bunch of shit as we
break the ring down.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
I get.
Oh yeah.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. You just made the list. This right here is a family.
Hey, this is professional wrestler and professional podcaster Colt Boom Boom Cabana.
My name is Killer Cross.
This is The Smoke Show, Scarlett Bordeaux.
What's up, guys? The Machine, Brian Cage.
This is Ryan from Pro Wrestling Tees.
Sadly, you are not listening to The Art of Wrestling, but you made a decent choice because you're listening.
You are now listening to...
When you're listening...
And you're listening to...
You listen to Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring. Bring it down.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another rousing edition of Breaking Down the Ring.
Rousing. Ronda Rousing?
I'm aroused.
Why?
I don't know, honestly. It's
Right. If it's the new mask, I'll take it off.
part of it's the new masks,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
part of it is Smitty's hat.
Let me wear your hat. Let's see where this goes.
The combination of the two might be detrimental to me hosting this
All right,
show.
so I'll be running the show from here on.
We are your ring crew.
I'm Smitty. Nas.
And I am Nikki One Tit yet again.
Nikki One Titty.
Nikki One Titty. Yeah, thanks for showing up and listening to the show today. Glad to see that Nas and Smitty are here this week. It was just me and Mikey last week, but now he's not here. He is downtown running the ship for the Lions home game. Yeah, should be a barn burner. Anyway, so
There, I'll hit that Dak Prescott move onto the field. That hip workout.
what? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I don't have him on any of my fantasy teams, so there's a lot to talk about, a lot of news items, a lot of the recap shit, but I'm gonna get right into it, and we're gonna talk about Jordan Miles again, and I think this is gonna be the last time we fucking talk about this guy. At least I hope so. Jordan Miles went on his Twitter this week and he posted a video basically resigning from WWE altogether. I'm going to play that video for you. It's about a minute long, and we can discuss from there. So let's play this video and see what Mr. Miles has to say. Now, he sits there staring at the camera for a minute.
As of today, I'd like to officially announce that I quit fucking WWE. I am no longer employee. I refuse to work for racists.
Somebody called him.
I fucking quit. Fuck them. I hate that fucking company and everything they fucking stand for. All they did was ever hold our fucking people back. I do this shit for the culture. I don't need anyone's fucking permission to do what I want to do. Screw Jordan Miles. Don't ever call me by that slave name. Call me ACH and don't forget the super bitch. I quit. Fuck you.
So yeah, that was a little intense, to say the least. I don't really. I mean, from what I understand, he was silent on Twitter for days leading up to that. And then he had given WWE an ultimatum or something like that for, respond by November 3rd or some shit. Did he not, Smitty? Do you know?
I kind of gave up on this angle for a minute ago.
Well,
because like there's certain points I agreed with, and then there's.
If you didn't hear it come across, because I know that the levels were a little low on it coming across, but he says, as of today, I'd like to officially announce that I fucking quit WWE. I'm no longer employed. I refuse to work for racists. I fucking quit. Fuck them. I hate fucking the fucking company and everything they fucking stand for. All they ever did was hold our people back. I do this shit for the culture. I don't need anyone's fucking permission to do what I want to do. Screw Jordan Miles. Don't ever call me that. Call me ACH, and don't forget the super bitch. I quit. Fuck you. I don't know. I'm at the point where, yeah, I'm over it. But I feel like at this point, he's really full of shit. I'm sorry. I mean, let me be honest. I really don't fucking care about Jordan Miles. I'm not saying I don't care about his cause or if he had an issue with everything. I didn't know who he was up until this. As probably a lot of people, based on the fact that he...
I didn't even know him as ACH. I know him as ACH before, so...
But, and a lot of people in the company probably didn't because, based on the fact that he didn't sell a single fucking shirt. Now, I did want to read this. This was something that I took from BWA exclusive, Black Wrestling Alliance. They put, just hours ago, NXT superstar Jordan Miles, real name Albert Hardy Jr., took to Twitter, basically quitting WWE. I can confirm exclusively from a source close to Hardy Jr. that he has unfortunately been dealing with some serious mental health issues, the source of which is unknown, but became apparent to some people close to him weeks before his infamous T-shirt outburst on Twitter back on October 27th. Spells of erratic behavior, mood swings, and even hallucinations have family and friends that are close to him worried for his well-being. WWE have known about Hardy's issues and advised the Texan to take time off, believed to be around 6 months, visit his home, and help him seek professional help. Miles has been away from the WWE Performance Center for a number of months. His last appearance for NXT was in a tag match with Keith Lee on September 21st. So it sounds like he's got a lot going on upstairs. I mean, but Nas, where are you at with this at this point?
Well, I'm at the point where I never really I didn't know the guy. I didn't have any emotional investment in said talent, so I didn't really care. This all came out. When the site came out, this actually taught me what a Sambo doll is.
Sambo.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Get your racism right.
Fuck you. And I actually I learned a lot about why that's racist
Well,
during this time. But after that passed, I didn't really think about Jordan Miles, because then it came out like the shirt had been out for months, and there's just been a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
And I mean, part of me kind of thinks it's a work, because if it is a work, it'd be a brilliant fucking work.
With a hot topic subject like race being there and WWE with all the public traders.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm talking about him
for
cutting
himself.
I'm talking about him cutting the promo he did. Whether, I mean, if he's really quitting, he just cut a promo for wherever he goes.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's not dumb in that sense. But if he is dealing with mental issues, if he's got like Benoit syndrome, like, yeah, I think he should like go figure that shit out. But I mean, I don't know the guy personally, so I don't know, how he acted before or that. So I'm going on like WWE's claiming this, he's doing his own thing. Like, we'll see how it pans out.
Smitty,
I've known Mr. Hardy as ACH pretty much because I watched Ring of Honor. He was one of those really good workers in Ring of Honor. And he pretty much got scooped up on WWE around the time where NXT was just signing almost any and every hot name pretty much on the indie circuit, going around pretty much the way ROH.
If his name's so hot, how come no one knew about him?
Well, exactly, and I think it's
the people knew who ACH was on the indies. When he came Jordan Miles, that's when people were like, "Oh, so who is this guy?"
But like a lot of your casual fans, like myself,
didn't watch ROH,
right? Now he's sitting in a position where his stance with this quitting and the video and all of his thoughts, it could hurt him in the long run. I mean, I read AEW doesn't want anything to do with this guy.
Well, no one can since he quit. Okay, so he's in a contract.
Yeah.
So since he's quit, his non-disclosure agreement or non-compete agreement is going to be the length of his contract plus 90 days.
Which, who knows how long that contract is? Not that I don't know.
Right, but I mean, so this guy might not be able to compete for a couple of years. At that point, you've already lost your name value.
Yep. And additionally, I don't know if he's going to have any type of future after that. I mean, because these people come and go in this business, and if you're not even as mainstream as somebody else that's just even starting in NXT, like himself, people are going to forget about him really quick. I'm sorry. And I'm done with the story. I'm done talking about it. Mikey brought up a point. I'm trying to think of the point that he was making earlier to me. I talked to him this morning. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I feel like it's all bullshit at this point.
But the only reason I think is like his career, it's not going to really affect his career as much as you think, because there are people that still side with him on this whole issue.
Well, even people, and this is what Mikey had brought up, people in WWE they're not even taking sides with this guy. Not even with his cause. Like, Booker T had said, like, long story short, this wasn't a good move for him. Or people like, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, and they're not.
They've been silent. Most the only people who brought this up 2 weeks ago. The only people that really come out and said anything when it comes to African Americans with the WWE were Booker T and Titus O'Neil.
And then Mark Henry talked about it on Busted Open.
But, Mark Henry seems to be the only one that actually had an opinion that sort of aligned with Jordan Miles. The rest were kind of on the opposite end.
He's the only one not restricted by WWE.
It's true.
But now, on the flip side, guys, if he is really suffering from like a mental illness or or maybe he's had one too many concussions. You know what I mean? Like, like if he's really suffering and this is not normal behavior for this man, then I'm kind of sympathetic to him. Not in his rants or anything like that, just in the fact that, okay, like, what if we do get this man some help and he's completely different? This is wrestling. You just change his name in a couple of years.
Right.
Or however it goes. Like, the right balanced medicine could make him a completely different person.
Well, and if he does have those issues, I hope he gets help. I don't want anybody to deal with anything like that, whether or not I think they're being ridiculous or anything like that. Nobody should have to deal with that. Okay, so let's move on. There was a lot going on this week. we can start with another big news story with CM Punk being added to WWE backstage
on Fox.
On Fox.
I thought they said he was going to be featured. Doesn't mean he's actually a host, which means he'll be in and out as he pleases.
He's going to be an analyst along the lines of, I read, comparing him to Troy Aikman. Great comparison, by the way.
Another name that's pretty much on by Fox Sports.
So they're going to be using him as an analyst. Now, there was a big stink on social media and the internet wrestling community. People calling Punk a sellout and, all sorts of shit.
Oh, the same people that have been chanting CM Punk for the past 5 years?
Six
years.
Exactly. Whatever way he came back, whether it's to WWE or Fox, which, let's be clear, he is working for Fox, not WWE.
Because Fox got more money.
But it's funny if people are calling Punk a sellout when his whole, the whole thing that got him over was him wanting to get paid. Like that pipe bomb promo was him wanting his face on this. He wanted to be in that. That was his thing, and I believe that was the real him. So if Fox wants to throw a bunch of money at you to talk about WWE, yep. Not a fucking
sign me up.
And he doesn't have to listen to Vince or Triple H. He gets to flick them off from the other side of the room. Sweet.
Right.
He's loving this shit.
And also, the one thing that in a recent interview, they said, what would it take for you to go back to WWE? And he said, a big bag of money. What did Fox throw at you?
A big sack.
Yeah,
They're big fucking sack.
But he's just taught. I mean, it's a smart play on his part because what he's doing is for Fox. And he's being an analyst for Fox. So this could lead to him doing other analytic jobs.
Right.
Across sports or whatever he wants to do. And he's mentioned a couple times that since he's left the ring and stopped competing in, MMA, that he really enjoys doing commentary and shit like that. So this could lead for him doing something with Fox and, fuck WWE. He mean, just because he's there doesn't mean he's really going to come back to the ring.
Well, then now there's all this speculation on, this is leading up to Punk at WrestleMania, and this is, ultimately the goal is to get him back in the ring. And, man, everybody's got some fucking idea of what's going to happen next. Why can't people just sit back? He's on backstage. Leave it at that. Who fucking cares what's going to happen in 6 months? Because you can't control it. You can sit there and speculate all you want. Let's just see what happens with him on backstage first.
Bubba or Bully Ray on Busted Open brought up a really good point that if being back around the guys and talking about the product and seeing the fans, if Punk fell back in love with it and wanted to do a story, that would be the easiest number 30 entrant for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's immediately he then becomes this, and we'll see where it goes from there. But he was also saying that if he did come back to the ring, that they should give him the pencil for creative. Not to give him complete creative control, but give him the freedom to be I want to work with this guy. I want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think a lot of fans would be happy about that, too. Not just for the fact that he'd be coming back, but because he would have these options at his disposal to kind of pave the way for where he wants to go. And
I mean, he could even be you could even do an NXT Punk invasion angle where he just comes in with a couple people and fucking tears Triple H's product apart.
Yeah.
Because he can.
Yeah. And that would be great. I'm all for it. If he wants to come back, if he doesn't want to come back, I'm all for that too. I mean, whatever.
I think it's just like you said, he's an employee of Fox. He can give less than two shits about the WWE. He just knows that the money he's going to get paid one way or another. Here.
Based on a lot of the things that we heard when we were at StarCast and we sat in on that Punk panel, if I were him, I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't go back to WWE. This would be the line where I'd draw in the sand with Fox, because you can tell he's still obviously if he didn't have any type of love for the business at all,
he wouldn't be back.
But just kind of leave it at that. He's going to get a boatload of money. I don't see that being a very difficult job to be on that show.
Now here's my question. You're CM Punk, right? and you said you wouldn't come back, even though you got this lucrative deal with Fox. What if Vince offers you, you know, a Brock Lesnar contract to go back with it? We'll give you $10 million a year, and you got to show up like 5 times.
That's that big bag of money he's talking about.
But then Punk probably like has to go to Saudi Arabia. That would be in the contract. Like, you're doing the Saudi shows.
That's tough.
You know what I mean? You work 5 days a year, 5 days for that company. You still do your analyst, and now you're double dipping. Now you're making money hand over
Money
fist.
talks.
He can tell them to fuck off in 2 years and be set for the rest of his life.
He could do, 10 matches in 2 years, go to Saudi Arabia twice, and
When do we get AJ back though? That's what I want to know.
I saw something on there that they were going to try and get her on backstage too. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but I doubt she wants.
I'm sure it was probably speculated by somebody, but
I don't care where she comes back. To be honest, I mean, just come back.
Mm-hmm.
So you can come on her back.
Flash a picture of her every now and then. That's fine.
That's what Instagram is for.
So Punk is back. Bottom line, I'm excited for it. That up till now, I had no reason to watch backstage. I'm just saying, but now
no, I think that was
backstage is actually a
part.
pretty good show.
Yeah,
like
I like Uncut Renee Young.
It's very very shoot-ish.
Okay,
it's actually an entertaining watch and interesting too. Although it made Joe kind of look like a face, which was dumb, but whatever.
Yeah.
Well, he's still going for another 2 months, give or take.
I don't know.
Royal Rumble, number 30. And that's what I love is I love the idea of all these things that we can speculate on. Royal Rumble being one of them. Somebody coming in at number 30. I mean, that's part of the allure. So we can get into some of the shows this week. We did have a Raw as usual on Monday night. For me, Raw, I don't know. It was another dud. It started off with Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair against the Kabuki Warriors. That match actually was pretty solid. I mean,
well, WWE's in-ring work, we always say at this point is pretty much solid. We just are tired of the same rotation of people.
Right, and so it's not to take away from the match quality, but man, that same shit just gets old. The Kabuki Warriors,
they go over.
They won the match, and Shayna Baszler actually came out and somewhere during the match, and Becky Lynch got attacked from behind by Bayley, and all kinds of chaos ensued. This whole women's angle for Survivor Series, honestly, to me, is more intriguing than the men's.
Yeah, it is more so like honestly, we were looking for from the ad from Bayley. I think Bayley has been this X factor, shown she's an X factor to this whole three-way match going into Survivor Series.
Yeah,
she's bringing a lot more to the story, making herself.
Yeah, but Shayna's at quite the disadvantage here. She has to wrestle the night before in a War Games match.
Yes,
like that's the dumbest thing I think about this whole
weekend.
Yeah, because you're having the first time ever all three brands, against each other. Cool, that's fine. But you're going to have a pay-per-view the night before. So psychology-wise, all these wrestlers from NXT that are going to be on the show on Survivor Series have already wrestled the night before in, brutal matches. We're not just talking regular wrestling matches. We're talking about 2 War Games matches with probably, we know your women's champion is going to be in both matches.
Yes.
We know that your NXT champion is going to be in both matches. Whatever match he's in. If he's leading the 5-man... whatever. But either way, then you're going to have a brutal match between Pete Dunne, Killian Dane, and fucking Damian Priest. So are none of those guys available?
But maybe because they have included Imperium over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
The NXT men's team could be led by Walter and Imperium.
They included Imperium because they were in the UK, so then they could use the NXT UK guys.
Well, and that was my thought a couple weeks ago. It might have been last week or the week before. Is like you said, the psychology of this.
Oh, stop! Because Kaylee Ray, our women's champion, is on the War Games team as well.
Yeah, as of this week, yeah. No, but I just don't like it. It already put NXT is considered like the lower brand, right? Like of the three. I mean, not to us, but just in general.
Right.
So now you're giving the lower tier brand an unfair disadvantage because all their workers work.
Well, and then they're all, like you said, they're all going to be in these brutal matches the night before, and then they're all going to work together the next night. And so, like, we're against each other one night, we're together the next night. I guess that part of it, if I can suspend my disbelief and not think about it that way, fine. But I mean, it's hard not to. It's hard not to.
Also,
see, what they should have done was like kind of split it up. Like, all right, we're not like Survivor Series is now 2 nights. On the first night, you're gonna get a Raw, SmackDown, men's and women's, and NXT, like all of them together. You get 2 War Games matches the night before. 5 men from each brand, 5 women from each brand, and do it that way. And then do your champions versus champions, or however you want to go about that.
Yeah. So you're saying instead of the traditional Survivor Series matches on Survivor Series,
do you have them on War Games?
Have them on War Games in War Games matches.
Yes,
that'd been great.
Yes, and the talent would have had a lot to work with too. I mean, imagine you have Seth Rollins, Adam Cole, and Daniel Bryan all on opposite sides of each other in a fucking War Games match.
Yeah.
And then they have, just like they did on NXT, they have a triple threat ladder match to see who gets the advantage.
Oh, that's another thing going into this week. Adam Cole may be fighting doing 3 grueling matches throughout, like 3 matches throughout that week because he's got a ladder match with Dominik Dijakovic.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We're kind of getting sidetracked off of Raw, but I do like.
That's how boring Raw was.
Yeah, well, it really was. Because then you got Drew McIntyre versus Sin Cara. Drew McIntyre going over. Sin Cara has now asked for his release. I think
so. It's only Lorcan as well.
Yeah, it was prior to that match with Drew McIntyre, but Sin Cara wants out. There was a 1-on-2 handicap match for the WWE 24/7 title. Truth versus the Singh brothers. Funny stat, Samir Singh is now the longest reigning 24/7 champion in history, as he did end up actually that match was more like a no contest.
No contest when he ran out.
Yeah. They went into the back and ended up in Rowan's locker room, and lights went out and things were penetrated and all that good stuff.
Sings were penetrated.
Sings.
Not things.
Thank you
Sings.
for correcting me. UK champion Walter and Seth Rollins. I was a little excited for that match. Seth Rollins came out and was, talking shit in the ring, and then all of a sudden Imperium shows up, and
because Imperium's on SmackDown too, to beat up Heavy Machinery. That's what I said. That's what when I go back to the whole.
I find Seth Rollins to be very boring now,
and that's that leads me to my next point. We'll finish talking about Raw, and then I want to talk about that. Don't forget that, because that played a key role in last week's Raw. Rollins did win that match after Imperium interfered, and then we moved on to an impromptu tag match with Imperium versus Seth Rollins and the Street Profits and Kevin Owens. That match was okay too.
It did not I feel like that one, there was no chemistry there for everybody that was involved.
It was a good 8-man match.
I didn't mind it. It was exciting to see Kevin Owens getting out there. I kind of miss him.
I was gonna say he hasn't really been on camera.
Yeah,
just that one stunner that got delivered to AJ.
I thought that Montez Ford with his Ultimate Warrior ring rope shake that lasted about 17 minutes was pretty fucking funny.
That motherfucker. That kid's going to be a star.
Yeah,
that boy need to get off that crack.
He's with Bianca Belair too, isn't he?
Yeah, this is his wife.
Then we had Lana. God damn it. Lana came out.
This is the worst fucking program ever.
She came out and she said that she was pregnant. She had said she was with Lashley for the first time 7 weeks ago.
And the crowd was booing her out of the building.
And then she had said that she was with Rusev before that, like 8 or 9 weeks ago. So then you were like, oh, so Rusev's the daddy. Nobody fucking cares. This is so stupid.
So I listened to Busted Open this week, and another thing that Bully talked about was how much respect he has for the three of them, because this is a shitty angle, but they are doing the best they can with what they were given. And he was talking about like Lana, and I didn't think it was a good promo, but then like I thought about it from his perspective, where he's like, you got to remember that crowd, like nobody likes this particular storyline right now. So that crowd was brutal.
Yeah.
So the fact that the whole crowd was booing her out of the building and she still made it through that promo shows how far she's come as a performer. And then he's like, they talk about how bad it is, like how bad the angle is, like how bad Lashley looked on those crutches. Like the man clearly never used crutches before. Like they talk about how bad it is, but they're doing the best what they got. But it seems like the angle is actually killing Bobby Lashley more than it is Rusev, strictly because Bobby Lashley should be a guy that goes up against like Brock Lesnar, not a guy that's screwing somebody else's wife. And these two haven't even had a match yet.
Right.
Which is kind of cool, because we haven't seen that kind of shit in a while, where it's just a bunch of, going-ons, and then finally down the road we get the blood match.
Are we going to get that blood match? I mean, with the way that this is going right now, and will anybody really even give a shit?
I'm surprised they're still pushing it, because this angle is so fucking bad.
Yeah.
This better be the best nut ever.
I don't know about that.
I said it better be. I don't know it's going to be disappointing.
I just can't see. Okay, let's say that these two have a match next week on Raw, which obviously that's not going to be the case. I just can't see Lashley and Rusev having very good chemistry in the ring to make it a match that I really even give a shit watching.
And maybe that's why they haven't squared off yet, because they've been, like
probably working on live shows.
Yeah, exactly. Like getting their chemistry. So when they do it on TV, I mean, that's just an assumption. I don't really know.
I mean, there'll be some strong points to it, I'm sure. They're both powerhouses, but overall, I don't know. I have no interest in that at
Rusev,
all.
to me, doesn't look as intimidating since he lost weight and cut his hair.
Yeah, I
like
would
now
agree.
I'm just like, ooh, he's some like goofball looking dude. Like before, I thought he'd kick my ass. Now I'm like, I could take him.
He's a middle school gym teacher now.
Bulgarian brute. I'll be happy when it's over. It's another one of those storylines that I lost complete interest in. You what?
What?
It feels like
what? Where's my
Is
bell?
that raped?
Where's the bell?
It feels like mental rape.
Yeah.
You always going right to rape. There's like no.
What's your fantasy team name again?
This week.
Oh, you changed it.
He changes it every week. It's got something to do with rape, though.
Yes, it does. Let's see.
I heard it through the Rapevine.
Oh, that may be my next week.
Oh, you motherfuckers.
So, then we had Eric Rowan against Sunner Durson.
The Rape Escape.
The Rape Escape.
Where's my bell?
Hey, you asked a question.
They took all the bells.
I didn't ask a question.
Eric Rowan was in a squash match. Then we moved on to the Viking Raiders.
Wait, what about that weird fucking box?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what's in the box?
What's in the box? Rowan carrying something covered in, I don't know, like a potato sack. There's something in there. I don't know what it is.
Did you touch it? I'm sorry. Whenever somebody says the words "touch it," now I think Joey Ryan because.
Oh.
What if it's nothing?
It's probably nothing.
What
right
if
now.
it's like his imaginary pet? They went from like, all right, Rowan's kind of smart to now he's a psychopath.
I think we should have a Twitter poll on what's in the box. I think we might have to start that.
Joey Ryan's dick in a box.
fucking Mae Young's hand.
Ooh, all grown up.
Yep.
We'll put some hair on the knuckles and shit. All grown up.
So Eric Rowan murdered Mae Young, Mark Henry's kid. He kept the body.
bring Mark back for one more match. Boom, we just sold a better angle than Lana and Rusev.
And it only took 30 seconds. Viking Raiders in a squash match against Flash, Morgan Webster, and Mark Andrews.
Who are the second NXT Tag Champions?
UK.
Yeah, I was going to say, get your stats right, buddy. Who were the first? Mustache Mountain?
No. Grizzled Young Veterans. So it was Zach Gibson and I forgot the other guy's name right now.
Okay.
Come on, Smitty, we count on you for this shit.
Because I was like, he's Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster beat them.
Yeah, I like them. I like that they got a lot of charisma. They were a little small to go up against the fucking Viking Raiders.
They work really good in the ring.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, no, they're really good.
Once again, Eric and Ivar, they've traveled the world and probably worked with these guys once or twice before.
Yeah. Well, and, I get that they're overseas, so they're trying to, incorporate some of those guys onto a main show like Raw. So, I didn't completely hate it. And then to close the night, we had Randy Orton, Ricochet, and Humberto Carrillo versus the OC. Can I just say that he's only wore it one time, but Humberto Carrillo has, in his theme song, they say Dale Gas. And I can't remember what it means in Spanish, but he has a shirt that says that across it. When I first saw him, now I'm part Hispanic, and so I understand where he's coming from that, but to an average Joe, it says Dale Gas. His shirt that just says fucking Dale Gas. So, immediately I was like, is this Pete Gas's, long-lost cousin? Or... But he hasn't worn it since.
Not with dimples like that.
He hasn't worn it since, and I'm glad, because it was making me a little unsettled.
Humberto actually pins AJ.
Yes, thank you. And I like Humberto in the ring. I think he's a good worker. I think if they get off that fucking Power Ranger get up that he comes out in.
I like the White Ranger.
Hey, man, don't make fun of Glacier's kid.
I don't know. I can't get on board with that, but I like him in the ring, and the fact that he pinned AJ.
I was going to say, the way they know he's going to be a star, that's why they're booking him with AJ.
Yeah.
Well, that and AJ can make anybody look good, but this kid has talent, and I think it's going to boil down to one amazing match between him and AJ.
He also had a great match with Seth Rollins on his Raw debut.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't give you. Yeah.
He's already had a match. He's already had a match with AJ too at Crown Jewel. He's had a match, non-title match as well.
Yeah, and he's gotten the rub in both matches from two of your top superstars. So.
People are getting on board with him too. The fans.
I like him, dude. The kid's got charisma.
That sky-high arm drag that he does is a thing of beauty.
Yeah, and he did that twice in that match, if I'm not mistaken.
I just love the fact that it almost sounds like Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah, it does.
I think that may be a shot at him.
I know. I thought that too when I first saw this kid on NXT, his debut match. They were saying his name, and I had my headphones in, and I wasn't watching, and they kept saying Cal Rio, but it sounded like they were saying Del Rio, and I was like, what? This motherfucker's back? Did anybody tell Paige?
Then how many times they got to fire you motherfucker? Why don't you just die?
So, going back to what Nas had said about Seth Rollins being boring.
So boring.
There are a lot of people that would agree with that. There clearly are a lot of people overseas that would agree with that because they booed him out of the fucking building on Raw.
But you didn't hear it because they taped it earlier and they added audio to it.
They sure did. But
the live clips tell the truth.
He tells the crowd to keep going, giving that same energy when because he could obviously hear it, and it's hard to hear him at some points during his promo. But he talked about Triple H and NXT, and when Imperium showed up, the crowd went fucking nuts. So it went from one extreme to the next. Now, when you watched Raw back, I wasn't really paying attention to the crowd and how they looked, but I could tell where's all this screaming coming from? I don't see anybody. I did notice nobody standing.
I was gonna say it's so easy to notice because you you hear people like clapping or some shit, right? And
Yeah.
then it pans to the audience and nobody's doing shit. Everyone's bored out of their mind. Like nobody's standing, nobody's cheering. Like where is all this noise coming from? The other end of the building? Like, just makes no sense.
I don't like the fact that WWE did that.
They do it a lot. They do it on the Hulu. Like that's
anything that's pre-recorded from them, they edit it for sound.
And I figure,
well, no, and for video too. Because when Goldberg first came back, if you didn't watch that live, you didn't see like he like fucking fell and got up and then speared the guy. But if you watch Hulu, it cuts right from like him going against the ring, cuts out all of him fucking
stumbling,
and just looks like he just like in 2 seconds hits a fucking spear and that's it. Like it looked brutal, and I was like, that is not how that happened. I watched that shit live. And that motherfucker fell.
That's great. Yeah, and I get that they've got to do shit like that, especially if it's pre-recorded and taped. But I mean,
no, you don't.
No, you don't.
There's another thing.
Not necessarily the crowd reactions or shit like that. But there are some editing to kind of like fit it into that time window, and then they can place their commercials when they want to.
Oh yeah, no, that I get. But I'm saying
that
like,
extreme.
As far as sound engineering goes, they shouldn't do it. They should just go with whatever happens. Like, if the crowd's booing Seth, that's fine, because Seth is still over. They just don't like him being boring. Like, you have the whole place booing you.
Well, and obviously we're not the only ones that think he's fucking boring. I mean, I still like him in the ring, but he's a wet towel.
He needs a manager. His most entertaining shit he's ever done was with other people.
Yeah.
In the Shield, he was entertaining. When he was with J&J Security, it was like a little comic relief kind of thing. Like it was good.
Yeah.
And also, he was having a really good run as champion at that point too, till the injury.
Yeah, but like the more he talks, the more I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I respect his in-ring work, but he's not that good on the mic. And if this guy is this bad of a babyface, you should never have him be a babyface.
Yeah.
Just let him be a heel until he's over enough to not be a heel anymore.
Well, and he is. He's so boring on the mic. It's the same shit every time.
The Adam Cole match. First of all, like everybody like Seth claims on TV, so they kind of gave him this moniker, let him run with it, that he is the best wrestler right now, which I totally disagree with, because that match between Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole
was damn near perfect.
What? Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna. As close to 10 out of 10 as possible. The one with Seth and Adam Cole, I didn't really care about.
Right.
And neither did the crowd.
And
it was
I
good
was
too.
I was very disappointed because I was hoping for something. They set the bar high with that Daniel Bryan match.
Well, also Adam Cole said it on backstage, like everything that like Max just happened that night with him and Daniel.
Yeah, because they had like an hour.
Yeah. And I think it could have been better had they not had Undisputed Era interfere in that match at any point.
Well, at that point, for something like this, goes back to this whole invasion angle in general. SmackDown's made to look way weaker than Raw is when it comes to these NXT invasions.
Sure.
Every week somebody got punked on during SmackDown.
Hey, yo, that just means that SmackDown's probably going to win the overall. That's how wrestling works. The team that's normally getting beat down is going to win the pay-per-view.
Well, and we saw, the last 2 years, Raw just utterly dominated.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but now SmackDown is on Fox, and you got to give Fox something. You just took Brock Lesnar away from Fox, so you got to give Fox a bone here.
Right.
So Fox is going to win Survivor Series. And then NXT is going to have a good showing to put them over, that they're cemented on this brand, and then Raw can take the hit because Raw's been around for 30 fucking years.
Yeah, they're fucking Raw.
And also, NXT, like possibly that NXT takes a little something out of here just because this is time you want to expose them to the casual viewer for the most part. This is your moment to do it.
Okay, so speaking of SmackDown, we can go into what happened on SmackDown this week. We started things out with the Baron Corbin promo with Ziggler and Rude in the ring. Basically talking shit about how he wanted them on their Survivor Series team. Ziggler and Rude were actually pretty solid on the mic. And then,
they both are solid mic guys.
And then
booked the shit.
Well, then you had the big dog come out, introduced by Baron Corbin, and it was a dude in a dog suit. I'm sorry, for me, that was fucking dumb.
In the words of Joe, tickle butt. Tickle butt, tickle butt, tickle butt, tickle butt, tickle butt.
Right in the tickle butt. I did not care for it. The whole Corbin.
Nobody cares for this damn angle.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Corbin and Roman Reigns, that whole feud, it's just kind of like meh.
At this point,
or less than meh.
Is it just me that's like, okay, can we just get past the fodder and get the Universal title with Roman like you're going to do anyway?
Baron Corbin is your top heel in WWE right now.
I give you that.
And, I mean, the fact that you guys don't like him, I mean, he plays off of his strengths. Yeah, I mean, he really has gotten better both in the ring and, like, promo work. Because in the ring, like, he puts his opponents over. I mean, he's been on a winning streak since winning King of the Ring.
Yeah.
But, like, his in-ring work has gotten so much more polished over, the past year.
Yeah, I'll definitely give you that.
And so much so that they gave him a clean win over Roman Reigns.
I'll give you that.
Was he the first person to pin Roman Reigns in 2019?
Oh, no, on SmackDown Live.
On SmackDown Live?
He's the first person to pin Roman Reigns on SmackDown Live.
I just don't like the feud with Roman. I think it's boring.
You got to give the guys... I don't think it's boring. Well,
yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think it's boring, but I think they don't have anything else for them to do, and they don't want to take them off of TV, so hey, fuck it, let them go at it.
Yeah. Well, this led to a match with Shorty G and Mustafa Ali, which...
Ali G? I like to call him Ali G.
Well, now he's back to Mustafa Ali, apparently, based on his Twitter. He said, call me Mustafa Ali. So it went from Mustafa Ali to Mustafa Ali.
Also, commentary don't know what the fuck's going on either.
Right.
They're use Mustafa Ali so they can do the Shorty G and Mustafa Ali.
And then
Disney Plus.
Next week they'll just call him Ali.
G and Lee.
Against Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, and the winners of that match would be added to the SmackDown Survivor Series team,
led by Roman Reigns.
Well, if Ziggler and Roode were to win, then it would be led by Baron Corbin. Ziggler and Roode went on to lose that match, so you got Mustafa Ali, Shorty G, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, and I'm drawing a blank for the fifth member.
I don't think there is one yet.
Yeah.
Ricochet.
No, Ricochet's Raw.
Raw, oh yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, we get to
Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman.
You already said Braun already.
Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Ali G.
Yep. See, I gotta suck your head already.
Shorty G, Mustafa Ali. There's one more fucking person on there. I just can't think of it.
It's Baron Corbin, isn't it?
Baron Corbin. Yeah, there you go.
I was gonna say.
So they ended up going over in that match, and the match itself, for me, I thought it was a pretty decent match. You had Roman Reigns come out in the middle of the match, and he actually looked pretty excited to be there, and he had a smile on his face, and he speared Baron, and the match finished, the way I expected it to. I did not really see Ziggler and Roode to go over in that one.
Yeah, but outside of, your SmackDown team's looking rather weak. What's the Raw team look like?
So you got so the Raw team is Seth Rollins, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton.
Yeah, so SmackDown's looking pretty. What's the NXT one? Do we know that yet?
NXT team has not been announced yet.
Okay, so right now between the two, SmackDown's definitely got the weaker fucking team.
I would definitely say
outside of Strowman and Roman on there,
and Corbin, but then you'd have the two. I think that's why you put Shorty G and Ali in there.
Kind of balance it out a little bit.
No, just to be like, oh, SmackDown got dominated, but they didn't have like all their top superstars on it like Raw did.
Yeah. I'm surprised we don't know any of the NXT.
Yeah, they probably don't know. They got to see who's beat up after War Games before they can make a fucking team.
So
that's why I said. That's why I went and said you may see Imperium. If you Imperium plus one more, for the NXT team, because Imperium also did appear on SmackDown and beat up Heavy Machinery.
You could also do Era plus one more, Era plus Finn.
See, everything, but we want to see Era plus Finn. Like I said, you said Era's got the Kate. They got the War Games match.
I think you could though, because Era's been the ones,
and also Finn's got Finn's got that match with Riddle too.
For the men, the Undisputed Era have been the ones that have mostly been doing the invading for NXT.
Yeah, and I thought for sure Keith Lee and Matt Riddle would be on the Survivor Series team, but Matt Riddle's got a fucking match against Finn the night before.
And Keith Lee's in War Games on Team Champion.
Yeah, see, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
all your top people are doing stuff the night before. And, like, not just some stuff. They're doing, like, brutal stuff.
Yeah. We'll move on, though, and talk about that more in a bit. We had Braun Strowman squash Drew Gulak again. That, to me, was fodder. Just killing time because they don't have anything for Braun Strowman.
I need something to drink.
Do need to fodder it up.
Right back.
Ooh, man, that's bad.
Wow. Was that just randomly on the floor? Did you buy that?
No, it was in the car. It was my girl's, and I see why she left it there.
It all makes sense now.
So we saw that squash match, and then we moved on to the New Day and the Revival, ending in a no contest. The match was building up some steam. It seemed like a pretty decent match. Those two teams usually put on a pretty good match. But, I mean, these commercial breaks and the placement of these commercial breaks during matches really kind of takes the gas out of these matches. That's for me. You know, I don't know how you guys feel about commercial breaks in the middle of matches. I've never, not once, because I can sit there and try and pay attention, but my first initial reaction, because most of the shit that I watch is DVR'd, I want to fast forward because it's fucking commercial.
See, that's why I always start Raw about a half an hour to an hour late, so I can fast forward through all the bullshit.
Yep.
I thought AEW's commercial placement was weird.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, they're like doing the little picture-in-picture thing for like entrances, so you actually get to see the fucking match. I'm like, that's good.
There's been a couple times when they've cut in the middle.
But I don't think they have a choice in the match.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the times I think the thing they do when they do the dual screen is when they AEW when they cut during like kind of like a side of segment where they're doing recaps and whatnot.
Yeah. But
like what happened moments ago.
That match ended up in a no contest with New Day and the Revival.
Once again, with the New Day and the Revival both getting punked by Undisputed Era.
Yep. So again, that's further letting me know that there's a really good chance that Undisputed Era are going to be the team that goes into Survivor Series.
And where the fuck is Velveteen Dream?
He's hurt.
He's injured.
Oh, I didn't know.
He's out. He's out for a minute.
I don't remember what his injury is, but
they say he's out for at least 3-6.
Yeah.
Weeks, months.
Then we saw Heavy Machinery in a squash match against Kip Stevens and Kevin Timms. And they came out to kind of aid in the whole Undisputed Era along with the rest of the SmackDown locker room. So they ended up, in the ring and in a match and beat the fuck out of these two guys. I don't really mind seeing Heavy Machinery in a couple of squash matches because they're fun to watch.
They are for some reason, I really thought they were going to, what they should have done, they should have booked Machinery like they booked the Viking Raiders, just do opposite brands.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's too late to do that at this point with these guys.
No, I think you'll see that the next couple weeks. They don't really have a whole lot for them.
Heavy Machinery reminds me of the Godwins.
The Godwins meet too cool. Because I'm sorry, the Caterpillar. I always think Scotty too hotty.
Yeah. When he does the Caterpillar, I'm waiting for him to end and like who,
Yeah.
But
oh no, he does the air hump though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we can't do that. Yes.
Can't do the air hump.
Not the air hump though. Tucky.
Oh. Yeah, tuck it. We need Mikey here for that. He really knows it better than I do. Nikki Cross and Bayley. The idea was that if Nikki Cross wins, then she would be a member of Team SmackDown,
which is Sasha's team of just Sasha. Who else is there?
You've got Sasha Banks. You have Lacey Evans, Dana Brooke, and Carmella, and then there's still one more
spot
to be announced. Yeah,
it'll be Alexa.
And then against Team Raw, you don't have anybody on Team Raw yet or NXT, so they're still trying to develop.
Oh, NXT team's probably going. Let's see. I do. Fuck. Maybe Mia Yim leads SmackDown Women's.
No, her face is broken.
We'll get to that. it could very well be Mia Yim, Dakota Kai, Rhea Ripley, Tegan Knox,
Bianca
Belair, possibly because they're the ones that have been invading. They did end up doing a 4-on-4 match. Baszler showed up to try and get shit started. Before that,
but Bayley did get punked by the whole NXT women's locker room.
Well, yeah, before Bayley and Nikki Cross really had a chance to get going, Shayna showed up, and Bayley ended up running scared, and Shayna disappeared, and then all of a sudden you had the rest of the NXT women show up, and it turned into a pretty decent 4-on-4 match. Although again, a commercial break kind of took the gas out of it. With a match like this, when you're leading up to Survivor Series and building these 5-on-5-on-5 matches, and then you're going to give us a tease with a 4-on-4 match with the women of NXT against the women of SmackDown. We haven't seen anything like that yet. And then you cut to a commercial in the middle of it. Again, it's another issue I'm not a fan of. I can't get on board with that. I can't keep my interest in the match when you do shit like that. Nikki Cross ended up getting the pin for Team SmackDown in that one. She ended up doing a neck breaker to Dakota Kai.
Just waiting for her heel turn now.
Well,
Dakota's.
Yeah. I kind of thought that too, but we'll have to wait and see.
Not too late. Never too late.
Never too late.
No, so I'm loving watching it boil over. I'm just waiting for them to pull the trigger on Dakota Kai heel turn.
Okay, Miz TV closed the show. You had Daniel Bryan come down.
Not that this is the way the segment started, from the way it started to the way it ended.
Yeah, I mean it was.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You did see an episode of Firefly Funhouse in the middle of it, and
the new.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Bray Wyatt introduced a new WWE
Universal.
Looks like a toy belt.
Championship.
But it looks better.
Belt.
It looks better than that goddamn red one, though. Still,
I don't know about that, but I guess for me.
But you have I don't understand why they didn't keep it red until they put it on somebody else, because Bray's character his colors are like red and black, so a red title on him looked legit.
But I don't know, maybe it was a Fox thing, because I identified that belt as a Raw belt.
Yeah, you got to as long as it was red, it's going to be identified as a Raw belt.
So they change it blue, and now you're identifying it as a SmackDown belt. But I like where Nas is going with that, because somebody had made a faux WWE Universal Championship belt for The Fiend. I don't think they actually made the belt, but they had
the concept art, yeah.
Yeah, and it looked great.
You had the snakeskin, kind of Necronomicon, looking thing.
But in any regard, this whole segment to me was a terrible way to end the show. It was something that should have happened in the middle of the show, if you ask me.
Yeah, and I don't buy Daniel Bryan as mentally disturbed.
Well, that's kind of what he was going for, is that he's a little mentally disturbed, the Fiend's a little mentally disturbed, or Bray Wyatt, or however you want to look at him. So maybe that's kind of the way they're going to play off each other in this whole thing.
Well, they're going for a storytelling match.
Right. Okay, so you guys will have to fill me in. Bray Wyatt hinted at Daniel Bryan,
going back to being the Yes Movement guy.
Yeah, well, not necessarily that, but their history with each other. So I think it was sometime in 2014, Daniel Bryan betrayed the Wyatt family.
No, okay.
Oh,
Daniel Bryan. This was right before
WrestleMania 30.
He was red fucking hot, and he got his WrestleMania moment. It was the dumbest fucking thing they could have done with him. But him and Wyatt were in a feud where Daniel lost, and he had to become a member of the Wyatt family. And then after a week, it wasn't, they didn't draw this out at all, and that's the part that hurt the feud the most. Mm-hmm. So like a week later, he turns on the Wyatt family. Like there was no build to it. He just kind of did it. It may have been like 2 weeks later. It was really quick. It was
really
almost
quick.
instant.
Okay.
But he was also like, nobody was buying Bryan as a heel at that point. The crowd, everybody wanted Bryan.
It doesn't matter though. You could have Daniel Bryan walk around looking miserable because he lost this match and is a man of his word and shit like that. But then a couple weeks later, he had a turn on him, and it was actually kind of dumb. But yeah, they do have a history, and I was gonna say that. I go, well, I guess they could play off the like, if there's one person that can beat the Fiend, it would be Daniel Bryan because he's like been down that road before and knows Bray Wyatt better than anybody that's not
Bray
Harper
Wyatt.
or Rowan.
I don't know. I guess it's something you just throw in there, just the reason why Bray Wyatt's going after Daniel Bryan because he punked him a couple years ago.
But then also, Bray Wyatt is supposed to be this whole new character too. So,
I feel like lately WWE hasn't really done a great job with their long-term booking.
They've been doing better though.
They've been doing better. And
I mean, look at how long they're sticking to this Lana and Rusev thing.
I think you're going to get that with the Fiend. I think you're going to see him.
Well, if that's the case, keep his promos kind of vague.
Yeah, and
that's part of the allure of them.
And I don't need to see a Firefly Funhouse episode every week. Every 2 weeks, I'm good. It's not to say that.
But he's your champ.
He's your champion. And he's probably one of your biggest draws on SmackDown. So you're not gonna shove it down your throat for a minute.
I get what you're saying. You don't need to see it every week.
But the allure.
But that's part of the gimmick for one. For two, you'd be like negating like they'd be like being like, oh hey, we don't need the championship on every week when you do.
Well, I think instead of not having a Firefly Funhouse every week, they could have happy-go-lucky Bray Wyatt come out to the ring with the belt, or even on the stage and have like a little puppet show or a live version of it, or something like that every so often to keep that
or just do like some Sting things and just have cuts of the Fiend being in the Raptors, just watching on the show
every once in a while. Yeah, he's just
that'd be a good one right there.
Just have like the lights go out real quick and put a spotlight on him, and then cut away.
I do like the whole bring the Firefly Funhouse to the ring type deal. Like he'll have one like, well, next week and wherever we're going to bring the Firefly Funhouse to you, yowie wowie,
and you could even have a guest on the show. He doesn't have to terrorize him, but he could creep him the fuck out. Have some of the women on that show, or I don't know. I think there's a lot that they could do with it that would still keep it.
There's a lot of stuff you can do to keep it fresh.
But man, there's a lot of people that fucking hate that shit. So,
PTA groups.
Yeah,
it's terrifying to children. Fuck your kids.
So at the end of SmackDown, we're gonna get Daniel Bryan versus the Fiend for the Universal Championship. Nas, how do you feel about that match? I mean, is that something that you're interested in?
Yeah, it is, because again, this is the Fiend getting his rub. All right, I beat a top guy in Seth Rollins. Daniel Bryan's a top guy. No matter, heel or face, he's still one of the best in the company. So now the Fiend goes over Daniel Bryan, and that kind of like cements his, title run.
Mm-hmm.
Like now you just throw opponent after opponent after opponent at him. I think he's going to hold the belt for a while, which is why they gave him the
indestructible bit.
Not the indestructible bit, but he unveiled the new championship. Like he was the guy to do that. Normally the guy that does that, the guy holds it for a while because that's their championship.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
I kind of disagree with that, because that goes back to the whole. As long as that belt was going to stay, it wasn't going to stay red much longer.
Yeah.
Especially with you not having Lesnar on there. Like Fox and SmackDown had to label that belt theirs.
Okay, so
he just happened to Bray Wyatt is at the right place at the right time with the title.
All right, so without going too deep into it, Smitty, who do you see as somebody that's gonna actually put down the Fiend and take that title?
Golden Boy Roman.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
At Mania?
Nope. I think he'll hold it till after Mania, because right now they don't know what they're gonna do with Roman right now.
Mm-hmm.
They know they're going to put the title back on him eventually. We all know they're going to put the title back on him eventually.
I think that's what Fox wants. Yeah.
And like he's also one of the people that Fox endorses as well. So eventually they're going to put that away. So eventually it's going to be Roman.
Nas?
I want to say Demon Balor.
But he's in NXT now.
That don't matter. We got the Royal Rumble coming up. Anything can happen. I mean, Demon Balor maybe.
Or Braun.
Maybe somebody who hasn't even, that we're not even thinking of. Maybe
Braun.
Bray might hold this thing for like a year and a half maybe. So, I mean, we might not even know the guy right now who's going to take him out. But, I mean, maybe Lars Sullivan. It's got to be somebody.
Does he still work?
It's got to be somebody that has a character that can put up with the mind games, like play the same mind games. Which they might have pulled the trigger too early on this Daniel Bryan thing, especially if they're going to play like mental illness versus mental illness. Mm-hmm. They could have built up Bryan's mental illness a little more. Like he just keeps losing these close matches, and then finally he has a break, and something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't see the Fiend losing anytime soon, especially with the way they're building him.
And also the way that they build the rest of the whole roster there. Who's going to look strong enough to actually stand toe-to-toe with the Fiend?
Oh, I got it. 17-time champ, John Cena. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, man. If anybody is going to beat the Fiend.
The golden shovel on the shovel.
I think it's going to be Ric Flair. No.
Hogan, because Hogan hates that young talent over. Never mind. He's not a man of color.
I like the idea of Roman. I think that makes sense.
It's perfect WWE logic.
Yeah. Although I could see, and I know they're on separate brands, maybe Brock Lesnar.
If it's not Roman, it needs to be Braun.
I think, and the fact
if Braun
that
holds the Universal and he beats Bray for it, it takes away most of the dumb shit you've put him through over the last 2-3 years.
And I don't want that to happen anytime soon if that's the case, because I think you need to continue to build on Bray's indestructible nature, the Fiend, that he can't be pinned and, he can't be whatever. And then have Braun be that guy, because Braun's been the guy to flip semis and to
pull semis, flip ambulances with men inside.
Right, and do all this shit. So have him be your guy,
But those are the only two people I can think will make sense.
Yeah.
But you're pretty much booking Braun like the Big Show right now.
Yeah. And it's sad, because I like Braun a lot. I know he's a big lunk in many people's eyes, but he's very
on social media. He seems like a really down to earth dude.
He's a big teddy bear on social media. Like I see him on his Instagram, and it's funny to see him next to dudes that are bigger than him. It's for later. That's some quality shit.
That's good shit.
Okay, so we'll move on from SmackDown. We'll go to NXT. NXT on Wednesday I actually watched live. I haven't watched it live yet, but I watched it live, and it was a great show. Not one of their best, but it was great. And it started off with you saw Tegan Knox outside. Rhea Ripley they were both down and out.
I thought they started with the Cruiserweight match before that. Leo Rush, Angel Garza.
That Angel Garza, man.
Was it?
Yeah, Leo Rush, Angel Garza opened up the show.
So we had Angel Garza and Leo Rush for the Cruiserweight title match, which was the best match of the night.
Oh, easy. Best match of the week.
I'll give you that.
And now that Leo Rush is actually being able to go out and shine the way some people know he could, he's actually a really great Cruiserweight champion.
I didn't know that he could wrestle like that.
Hold on. He's had the belt for like 3 weeks. Don't be talking about how great of a champion he is.
I said beginning
just yet. I
thought I said beginning.
I like that his character's not this arrogant dickhead that he was with when he was with Bobby Lashley. At least that I've
the
seen.
Man of the Hour gimmick.
Well, he's always been known as the man of the hour.
That's fine, but it was too much with Bobby Lashley. I couldn't get on board with that. But
I think he got more. They tried to use him to get some attention to Bobby, but he put more attention on himself by accident.
Yeah,
but not for the right ways either.
But I do like him as champion. But this match was stellar. The crowd was super into it, back and forth.
50-50 on the chance.
Yep. And then at the end,
Angel got over
when Lio Rush hit that stomp and he pinned him by the ropes, and then Angel Garza's foot kind of was stuck on the rope,
and he pulled it up.
Is that going to lead to anything, or are we going to move on from that?
Oh, we're gonna move on from that.
Okay.
Like, I see it feel like once again, just NXT Cruiserweight Championship is called now.
Yeah.
So right now it's a third. It's a third belt on NXT now.
But I do agree with
only for the cruiserweights, and they're doing a good job of.
They're doing a good job of interweaving them in and out on NXT.
Yeah.
But definitely, I agree with Nas. It was the match of the week. So if you get a chance, definitely go check that shit out because that was.
PDR. You know what wasn't match of the week? Pac versus Hangman for the 18th fucking time, but they only said, "Oh God, I'm so mad about that."
We'll get to that one. So, and then after that match, we did see Tegan Nox and Rhea Ripley knocked down and out.
So Tegan Nox, Rhea Ripley, Marina Shafir, Jessamine Duke. Hey, we got our first Scarlett.
Man, you're just burying that lead. You're just digging it and just fucking shitting all over.
This is your fault, though. You didn't give me the fucking bell.
The first cut, we had Tegan Nox and Rhea Ripley that were knocked out. Then later on, we saw Marina Shafir, Jessamine Duke, Candice LeRae. Everybody's ass got beat. And yes, the first glimpse of the smoke show, Scarlett Bordeaux. She hinted on that, too, earlier in the day on her Instagram. I think it was like something like, what are you watching tonight? She kind of hinted that she was going to be on there. But you notice there was no mention of her.
No.
It was just her, and she was kind of helping out somebody and, as always, looking unbelievable.
Do you want me to put on Smitty's hat?
I'll have to stop the show. Then we had, how do you say her name? Xia Li and Aaliyah. And this match, to me, was just kind of, I'm not going to say the F word, filler.
It was.
Fodder?
I don't want to drink this.
You got beer right behind you.
It's too early for that shit.
Okay.
Wow. Bye.
Yeah, this match was filler, total filler, and apparently Aaliyah took a shot to the face, and she initially said she had a broken nose, and Vanessa Bourne said that Xia Li is the sloppiest worker in the NXT locker room, but come to find out that it's not really a broken nose, it's a work, because she's literally going to have surgery on a shitty, she's getting a nose job. So she didn't break her nose. So it's all an angle. However, I'll get to it in a bit. We went to Balor promo with Undisputed Era, Tommaso Ciampa, Matt Riddle, Keith Lee. This is setting up for a Finn Balor and Matt Riddle match at Survivor Series.
It's at War Games. They already announced it.
Sorry, at War Games.
And then Dijakovic took Riddle's spot.
Which
Mia Yim's out of the War Games.
Well, I said that Dijakovic was going to be in his spot. Well, not in his spot. I thought he would be the fourth or fifth member. But now they still need somebody.
It's going to be either Gargano. It's most likely going to be Gargano.
I thought Gargano is working on an injury right now.
Yeah, he's out with a neck injury, so he won't be at Survivor Series. Mia Yim is out with a broken nose.
No, because Mia Yim showed up on SmackDown.
Yeah, but for War Games, she's out. Like, they took her out after she took the ladder to the face, so they need to find one more person. Which is why Dakota Kai is still, like, in the mix.
we'll get to that in a minute. Because Mia Injured did take a shot to the face.
Good one too.
Keith Lee.
You bring up her dude.
Keith Lee and Roderick Strong. That match was pretty solid. And Keith Lee won that match clean. I like the push that they're giving Keith Lee. I wasn't crazy about him when we first saw him. We saw him live here in Royal Oak. I just didn't know who he was, but now I'm basking in his glory.
Basking in his glory.
So, I like the push that they're giving him, and yeah, we did see after the match, Dominik Dijakovic is going to be on the
Team
Wargame
Ciampa
team. I like him too. I like both those guys live. I like when these bigger dudes can move like that in the ring, and they're that hybrid type athlete.
Yeah, Dijakovic's
6'4", 6'5",
6'7".
6'7". Wow.
Yeah, Keith Lee's 6'4". Dijak is 6'7", but does like shit that luchadors do. So,
then you had Isaiah Swerve Scott and Bronson Reed. Isaiah Swerve got the win there.
That a good one too. That was a really good one.
All right, so I watched the Hulu version, so I didn't see some of this. I saw.
Oh yeah, it's 2 hours. They probably cut like 15 minutes.
I saw the Mia Yim ladder match. Mm-hmm. I saw what was the opening match? The cruiserweight match.
Cruiserweight. Andrew Garza versus.
I saw the
Rush.
Finn promo. I then saw when Finn came back and attacked Riddle. What was that, like the main event? But like Hulu cuts it down to an hour. Yeah. So it literally cuts a whole hour out of the show.
It cuts SmackDown to an hour. It cuts
it's SmackDown down to an hour and a half, Raw down to an hour and a half. So it cuts Raw in half, literally.
And NXT's an hour.
That's okay. So I have Hulu Live. So if I record it and I watch it before they release it, you know how they release it like the next day on Hulu?
Yeah. If
I watch it before they release it, it's still somewhat edited because it'll literally tell me like parts they've cut out. It'll be like, this portion can no longer be seen, and it'll like skip ahead.
Really?
But it'll still give me like the full 3-hour show. If I wait till like 6 a.m. the next day, then it's whatever their digital thing. So it cuts it to an hour and a half.
No shit, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
That's why I started streaming instead of.
Well, yeah, that
So like no, I'm just saying there's like 2 or 3 matches you name on NXT, and I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like,
Mia Yim and
Io
Shirai, they closed the night.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And they had a ladder match, and the winner would get the advantage for their team in the NXT Women's War Games match. During the match, yes, Mia Yim ended up taking a ladder shot to the face. She actually took a couple of really good bumps in this one.
Yeah, but she took that fucking ladder to the face too.
Joey Mercury style.
So she has a broken nose. So Smitty, you're saying she is now out?
Is he saying she's out?
I'm sorry.
Okay, so on the graphic at the end of the show, who was that? Nigel McGuinness was talking about how they're down another person for War Games because now Mia Yim's out. Like William Regal ruled her out of War Games with the broken nose.
Oh, okay.
So now Baszler's team is filled out because she's got what's her name?
She got Bianca Belair.
The UK champion.
Kaylee Ray.
So now she's on Team Baszler, and it's going to be whoever. It's going to be a surprise whoever's
Ripley.
on Ripley's team, yeah.
Okay.
It'd probably be Tony Storm.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So NXT, again, it was a solid show. We also had AEW Dynamite that night.
Okay, I got issues with this
well, let's start from the top. Moxley over Michael Nakazawa in a very quick match. Michael Nakazawa was basically trying to defend the right of Kenny Omega because before that match they showed a little package of what had happened from Full Gear and the fact that Moxley was cleared to compete that night, but Kenny Omega was not. Michael Nakazawa was kind of hanging out with Omega at that point, and so he tried to fight Moxley. It didn't end up working for him. Moxley cut a really good promo at the end of the match. He said, I told you exactly what was going to happen at Full Gear, and I delivered as promised. And the crowd was really into it, and he issued a challenge for anybody to dare to survive with him. So yeah, he pretty much squashed Michael Nakazawa.
Yeah, but then come later in the show, it gets better.
So then we go do Dark Order over the Jurassic Express. Evil Uno was trying to recruit Marco Stunt to join with the Dark Order.
And then
we see
one of the biggest pops of the night.
One of, if not the biggest pop of the night.
It was probably the biggest pop of the night.
Luchasaurus.
They say no. The biggest pop came a little bit later.
I thought he would be out a little bit longer. I don't remember off the top of my head what
he had a
his
groin
injury
injury.
was.
It was a groin
So
injury.
maybe just like a strained muscle, or
Yeah, it was a strained.
okay.
It was a strained groin.
So I was glad to see him back. I like him a lot. But yeah, definitely got the biggest pop of the night.
But it's also if you like the fact that they use social media as much as they do is going to lead to them with a feud with the hybrid. With the best friends eventually.
Then we had Darby Allin, Peter Avalon, and Sean Spears in a triple threat. Sean Spears ended up he wasn't involved with the match very long because Joey Janela ended up coming down to the ring and kind of getting in his shit. And then Darby Allin basically squashed Peter Avalon after that. Darby Allin accepts Moxley's challenge, setting up for a match next week.
So we're gonna get like a death match out of those two.
No, because it's on TNT next week. It's going to be a straight up,
But I'm assuming it's gonna lead to like some hardcore.
Another lights out.
I'm sure.
Another lights out.
Which me and Mikey were talking about that last week, and I don't mind those matches, but they can't oversaturate us with those. That
we've had 3
So
now?
I was thinking this, and tell me what you think. I feel like AEW is doing too much too soon. Like this ring battle royal thing, like if it's just like if you're not gonna have a secondary title, you're gonna have this ring. Cool, but I feel like you're doing it too quickly. Like you're not building it up enough. Like give it some time. Just have this. You know what I mean? Like go slow, but it seems like they're pushing it to the moon and they're doing it too soon.
I think some things, yes. Some things like
Orange Cassidy.
I don't think with Orange Cassidy. I think that they started to, but then like this week, we'll talk about him in a minute. But there's some things that they're doing too much of. Some things that they're kind of doing right.
So you think they're like kind of figuring it out, kind of steering the ship in different directions to see which way it's going to go?
But in the grand scheme of things, I would agree because it's only been a month since they've debuted on TV, a month and a half.
Yep.
And that's 6 shows. They have all these different things that they're trying to squeeze into those 6 shows. And it's kind of, some of the things are getting lost in the shuffle.
Well, I mean, but it is wrestling, so unfortunately, things are going to get lost in the shuffle regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just how it is. They get lost in the shuffle, and then you try and reinvent yourself and become relevant again. That's just wrestling in a nutshell. That's going to happen at any company. Some more than others, but I don't know. I feel like they have the fan base and they have enough pissed off fans that don't want to watch WWE, whether you think they're racist or you're bored with their product or you don't like the fact that they do business with Saudi Arabia, whatever your reasoning is, you have so many disgruntled wrestling fans that are going to watch your product no matter what, strictly because it's a different feel. But the way they're pushing it right now, it's starting to dip into the WWE-esque bullshit. And what I mean by that is, can I talk about the Pac and Hangman match?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, cool. So correct me if I'm wrong. At All or Not All Out, Full Gear, it was Pac versus Hangman, correct?
Yep.
And they were saying, each of these men have a win over each other here in AEW. So this is the rubber match. Whoever wins this match, blah, blah, blah. And then Hangman wins, giving him the 2-1 record over Pac.
At Full Gear, he did.
Correct?
Yeah.
He won at Full Gear, yes.
So then on Wednesday, they pushed the same match. These men are both 1-1 here in AEW. They have a win over each other. So this is the rubber match. And then Pac wins. So now, by my standards, they're 2-2. correct?
I think the first match between the two was in a tag match.
It was the tag. That's when Moxley walked out on him.
Yeah,
He got his first L.
It was Moxley and Pac against Hangman and Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
And Hangman got the pin over Pac. So last Saturday would have been their first one-on-one.
Well, then why were they? But
second, because the first one Pac won. It was the first.
They were okay.
Week.
So
yeah. So this would have been their third on Wednesday.
Yeah, this was their third on Wednesday.
Yeah.
No, see, I think
the third one-on-one.
Well, this is not how they promoted it. They promoted both matches the exact same to the point where I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" But also, Pac and Hangman have had
3 one-on-ones in a tag.
No, you guys are missing one that they did before All Out.
They didn't. No, because Hangman fought Jericho for the title at All Out.
Okay, so the one before that. The first AEW pay-per-view was that Double or Nothing?
Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing. Hangman was supposed to wrestle
Pac
Pac,
wasn't there.
but there was creative difficulty. So they wrestled somewhere else, but under the AEW brand, which was Hangman's first fucking.
This before the wins losses thing became a thing.
Okay,
I think
whatever.
No, I think you're right, but it wasn't under AEW. It was like an independent show.
Yeah, but they got the match out of the way because they weren't going to do it on the pay-per-view.
Right. So they did fight each other because.
But that wasn't about the wins and losses either.
Yeah, so I think maybe they're getting that confused.
Well, I mean, as a fan, I was confused, but especially if I'm a new fan and you promote something one way on Sunday and then on Wednesday promote this thing. Like, I mean, the presentation. I mean, the match was different. Obviously, there was a different winner, but it was like, this is exactly how you presented this match to me 2 fucking days ago.
Yeah, I get it. I'd have to go back and watch Full Gear and see how they kind of portrayed it, but yeah, and well, now I think we're done with it. You know, the match was a good match. It wasn't as good as the Full Gear match, but I think we're getting some separation, and that actually leads to the standings, because that gives Pac the edge over Hangman, and I believe that makes Pac the number 1 contender.
Because Cody lost.
Yeah.
And
so
Cody can't fight for the title again.
You've got Pac, who's at 4-1-1, and these are singles records, so he's ranked number 1. Cody's 3-1-1. Hangman's 4-3. John Moxley 2-0-1. And
so why is John Moxley not above everybody?
Because 2 of John Moxley's matches were lights out.
And Darby Allin is 5th.
It's not on the rankings, but John Moxley's undefeated.
That's my issue with all the rankings is why let me use the women as an example. You have Britt Baker, who's ranked number 1. She's 3-1. Hikaru Shida is 2-1. She's 2nd. Emi Sakura is 1-1. She's 3rd. Right there, that all makes sense. But then you get to Nyla Rose, who's 2-3, and Allie, who's 1-2. So what if points matter? Because and I'm not saying they do, but if we're looking at like you get 3 points for a win and none for a loss,
yeah, like hockey,
right? So then ultimately Nyla Rose should be ranked 3rd, even though she's got 3 losses. She'd have more points than Emi Sakura.
Well, right. And how is it
points now?
No, I'm just saying because it doesn't.
But
when
if
you
wins
just look
and
at
losses
this,
matter, now if I'm a wrestler who doesn't wrestle every week. Like, let's say Cody goes out there and wrestles every week, and he's got a 500 record, but because he's done 32 matches and he's got 16 wins, he's still got more points than the dude who's 8-0.
Well, and then going back to the men, so you have Pac, Cody, Hangman's 4-3, Darby Allin is in 5th under Moxley. Darby Allin's 4-2-1. Darby Allin has 4 wins. Why isn't he above Cody, who only has 3 wins?
Most of his are in singles. Most of Darby Allin's matches, if he's won, have been multiple.
No, these are singles wins.
Singles
4-2-1.
Yeah, he's going off he's not going over overall.
Well, Darby's also already had a shot at the title.
So why isn't Darby ahead of Hangman? So if you've had a shot at the title, that means you go to the back of the line. Because Hangman's 4-3, Darby's got fewer singles losses than Hangman.
But like Darby already had a shot at the title already too.
So, but why does that even matter?
But if wins and losses matter, okay. Let's say I'm a brand new superstar in AEW, and I go on a 10-0 run. So now I'm 10-0. Now, am I the number one contender until my losses catch up with me, or do I go to the back of the line? Like that's a really good question because let's say I get a championship match being 10-0. Now I'm 10-1. I still have a better record than everybody in the company. Am I still the number one contender?
It would appear as though you're going to the back of the line.
Or do you drop down to number 2? And you know what I mean? Like, how does that work? Because even if you put me, like, let's say there's 10 people in each division. I'm number 10 because I dropped down, but I still have a better record than everybody. Everybody.
Yeah.
Like I'm 10-1.
Well, and that leads me to this point is that the Young Bucks, somebody tweeted at the Young Bucks earlier this week, do the wins and losses get reset every year? Meaning that the reset day would be at Double or Nothing too. And Nick Jackson said looking like January. So he didn't straight up say, yes, they get reset, but the idea is there that the wins and losses will reset like a season.
And I'm okay with that if they do that consistently. If every, December 31st is the last ranking. When, come January 1st, the first show after that, that's the season premiere and everybody's back to zero. I'm cool with that because then you can go places. Then you can actually bury people for a season and it's not going to ruin their career going forward because, hey, in January it starts over. So like Zack Ryder or Kurt Hawking, for example. I know I'm using WWE guys here. But Kurt Hawking could lose every match for a year and be 0-.
Which he's done.
Oh, right. Yeah. But then it's a new season. So now Kurt Hawking's undefeated. He's won 3 matches in a row.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So now I can give him a little bit of a title push. A guy can have a bad year. You know what I mean? So I do like the reset for seasons as long as they don't
as they do it right.
As long as they don't randomly do it. Like they pick a day like, okay, listen, January 6th every year, we're going to reset the record.
Yeah.
So then they stay consistent with that. Then I'm okay with it. But if they're like, oh, January, okay, and now we're going to do it in June. And now we're going to do it in August. Like, if they stick to once a year to do a reboot,
it looks like WWE. As long as they don't like WWE Power, the BS WWE Power Rankings.
Well, and I do agree with that because, if you're looking at wins and losses mattering, and I understand that this is not a team sport. Mikey brought this point up in the chat that look at boxing, look at UFC, they're individual sports. Your rankings and your wins and losses never reset. When you retire, you're retiring 45-0, but while it's not,
but the difference is you're not doing one match a year or 2 matches a year in training. I mean, you're doing weekly episodes. Plus, this is wrestling.
And this
okay,
is
like we always
my next point.
They want it to be more like a real sport, but people are taking that whole more like a real sport too seriously. They're like, oh, well, this isn't like the NFL draft. Well, no shit, it's not the NFL.
Right.
But they're doing their thing. This is a wrestling company. If as long as they do it good and they do it consistently, and they don't, backtrack like WWE does so many fucking times and just shoot themselves in the foot, then I'm okay with it. Because then you know what? You can still do like, okay, I mean, hockey, for example. All right, so in 2019, Hangman Page was 4-3 with 1 loss and blah. Like, and then, okay, 2020, he was, 10-0, almost like a college ranking.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he was, 10-0 and he went to the Orange Bowl or won the championship, okay? But then in this year, like, the only thing I wouldn't get, though, is how it would work for your champion.
I think their record would reset, but they'd still be the champion.
Well, I mean, okay.
And if that's the case, it also gives you an opportunity to introduce a 4th title.
Why a 4th title? We don't even have a 3rd title.
Oh, well, that goes. Well, we're still on the AEW subject, right?
Yeah. Well,
you talk about that match.
Oh, the ring. The ring.
Well,
kiss the ring. Cody's going to win, so you can kiss his ring.
My thing with the whole wins losses thing, I do understand it from if you want it to be more like a sport, then it's not like this, or boxing is like this. But if you just leave it as wrestling, not comparing it to boxing or NFL or whatever, they can do whatever the fuck they
Yes.
want.
Well, listen,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
When it goes to the reset thing, like, it's just like any other professional sport, like basketball or football. When a new season starts, everybody's at zero.
Right. And you know what? Like if they January 1st, everybody's at 0. January 3rd, first televised show. Okay, great. Because then everybody
Even if they did an off season, if they were like, you know what, guys, we're just gonna run random shit. Like we'll cut promos and shit for 2 hours, or we'll do something, but we're gonna give our guys, a month off to recoup and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Here's a month of dark.
And it would be a great way to introduce new talent that way. You could do like a scouting combine where you go to random indie shows. You know what I mean? Like you could do different kinds of shit and air it on TV just to kill a month. It's 4 episodes.
Well, I think in the long run is if they do it right, I think it's a great idea to have their records reset. Because ultimately, okay, you have a guy 5 years from now who's 45-8, and then somebody comes in and he gets a couple of wins, and he's this hotshot dude, and you book him against a former champion, and he's 5-1, but he's beaten 5 different dudes that were champions at one point.
Yeah, like top guys. He's beaten 5 top guys.
Right. So then you're going to be like, well, he's got 45 wins and he's only got 5. So shouldn't he be? No.
And at that point, does strength of schedule come into play?
Right. Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Like, yeah, I have 10 wins, but I didn't beat anybody.
Right.
Like, I beat a bunch of jobbers. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I did nothing, but I have a better record than everybody. But now I could be like 0-10, or I could be 5-10. Let's say I'm 5-10, right? But the 5 guys I beat were, top fucking guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of it resetting. I think sometimes people might think way too much into it and try and be too analytical. It's just fucking wrestling. That's all it is. And it's a different spin on it. Unlike anything, I know that a lot of the guys on this show, you watch and are more into a lot of things other than WWE, but for the vast majority of wrestling fans that are out there, they've only watched WWE and they're trained to understand those rules, and that's what they know wrestling as. They don't know it as anything else. So for this to be such a change, you're going to look at it and be like, oh, well, they didn't do this right or they didn't do that right, but you're basing your opinion off of everything you know from WWE. So who's to say that what AEW is doing is wrong? I'm not saying it's right, but
right.
You know,
but I mean,
at it
we're
like
nitpicky, and
Yeah.
this is what we're here to do. I mean, personally, if I had to rank like my personal beliefs right now, it would be AEW, NXT, and that would be it.
Yeah.
But if I had to like rank them over, probably Raw over SmackDown, only because I forget that Raw's on Fridays, and I'm like, oh shit, it's 10 o'clock.
SmackDown?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Like, I don't forget Raw's on, because Raw's been on the fucking same time.
Right.
Same day,
SmackDown's
everything for the
been
last
on
30
different
years.
channels, different
days.
different days.
Yeah, but, and Friday,
times.
I'm an adult. I do stuff on Fridays.
That's right.
Like, I don't do stuff Monday through Thursday. I do stuff on Fridays and Saturdays.
Okay, so let's get through the rest of Dynamite, and then I want to talk about that. That'll lead us into talking about ratings. Nyla Rose defeated Danny Jordan in a squash match to bring Nyla back on TV. We had Jericho come out to the ring doing a promo, and he called Cody an entitled millennial bitch. Cody's music hits, and it's MJF.
Which was great.
Smitty?
Oh,
Bless you.
Thank you.
You said you hate?
What does that know? The heat that he has right now.
Yes. That whole thing was great. MJF's promo was great. The banter between him and Jericho, there was a lot of chemistry there. And then you see Cody come out finally, and the guys in the back are trying to stop him, and he ends up breaking free and
busting the stitches open again.
Yep, he got a little roughed up in the ring, and then you see Wardlow make his debut. The muscle behind MJF, and based on social media, you've got these two and the fucking tie that Wardlow had on, the Burberry tie.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Smitty. Isn't Wardlow part of like the dynasty in Major League Wrestling with MJF? Or no?
Oh, MLW.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay. I'm trying to think about the promotion. Like, I'm not sure.
Okay. I thought maybe you would know. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But
I know he's in a faction in MLW,
okay.
but I don't know who else is in it with him.
Honestly, I forgot about Wardlow because last thing I remember him is the little package they had at
We've
All
seen
Out.
all these videos. No, bitch, we saw one. We saw one
And that
video
was at All
package
Out.
for this motherfucker at All Out.
No, two, because there was one like 2 weeks into the show.
And
too.
I think it was the same video.
It was the same video.
Yeah. But so these two are going to be teaming up. I don't think the idea is completely gone that him or both will join Inner Circle.
I hope not. You need to establish a heel, another type of major heel outside of Inner Circle.
Yeah, without having that support from somebody else. And MJF's the perfect guy to do it. So I agree. I don't want to see them join forces anytime soon anyway.
But it would be a good way for them to push Jericho out and have MJF take over.
Yeah, but it's one of those too soon things, I think.
Oh, no, but they could build to it.
Yeah.
Just like The Rock and Farouk. Like,
Yeah.
you could build to MJF taking over, and then Jericho can go on tour with Fozzy, and, all is right in AEW.
Good old Fozzy. So we've already talked about Pac and Hangman Page. Pac going over. Pac.
The bastard.
Pac.
He went over on that one. Then we had a brawl with Proud and Powerful and the Young Bucks that started off backstage, ended up on the stage. Smitty, what do you think?
It's the Orange Cassidy's appearance.
So
that was good.
That popped the crowd probably more than Luchasaurus did.
Right in the bathroom, and it's just Orange Cassidy just kind of hanging out.
And I love the fact that it was Ortiz that just slowly grabs the door, just closes it back.
And that's that type of thing right there. We were talking earlier about oversaturating something and doing like Firefly Funhouse every week. Orange Cassidy, those little snippets of him, to me, are it's just enough to tease you and you're not shoving him down our throats. You're not bringing him out every week doing the same shit.
But if you did shit like that where you just randomly showed him in places, I'd be okay.
Like, where's Waldo?
You still show him every week, but for 30 seconds, like stupid shit like that. Like somebody walks in the wrong room and there's Orange Cassidy. Cool.
Yep. And do it for a while, and then get him more involved.
And then there's going to be an internet segment somewhere called "Where's Orange Cassidy this week?"
Yeah. So with that, Proud and Powerful ended up. They took a sock full of balls and hit Nick Jackson in the knee, and then they powerbombed.
Baseballs, probably tennis balls, but
yeah,
maybe it's a bar of soap, man. They get this prison.
I'm thinking tennis balls.
Most likely tennis balls, but like where I come from, they talk about in prison we use soap in them socks.
Well, not this week, Smitty. Matt Jackson was powerbombed through the stage, which sets up. Actually, and then during that whole thing, you had Brandon Cutler come out.
That part was funny.
Brandon Cutler came out to try and save the day, and Proud and Powerful walked away. They're like, all right, we're done. We lied. And they kicked his ass, and then you had Private Party come out, and
rest of the locker room.
This brawl lasted a while.
But it was a good brawl.
Yeah. And now that sets up P&P against PP next week. Proud and Powerful against Private Party.
That's a lot of P.
On AEW, all the Ps. Then we had the main event.
Carrots?
What?
Say no carrots?
No carrots on this one. SCU against Jericho and Sammy Guevara.
And they're still giving Scorpio Sky that push.
They sure are, because Scorpio Sky ended up getting a clean pin on Le Champion.
By the way, I like the fact that Jericho's wearing a weight belt now too with his gear.
Yeah.
So now, back to the power rankings or whatever, real quick. Like, does that shoot Scorpio Sky up? Because I mean, granted, it was a tag match, but he pinned the champion. So how does that affect his singles record?
I don't think it'll affect his singles record because it was a tag match.
Yeah, but I'm just saying he pinned the champion. So,
but
like, where would that put him in that championship ranking? You know
I think it's W one of those things that kind of puts you it should put you as a blip somewhere.
Yeah,
but I don't think it should put you in like, oh, this guy's in championship contention.
Is that the right person to give Jericho his first pin in AEW?
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with. I'm okay. Well, one reason I'm okay with it because, you know what, Black Power, For the culture hashtag.
Sure.
You should have known what he was going to say right before you asked that question.
This is once
why I
again
asked
Scorpio Sky's also one of the he's one of the more unknown guys. And maybe this makes people want to see him more.
Nas?
I think it was great. I think with the way they are building Scorpio Sky right now, I think it's great. And it kind of lines up the next contender, but with the whole ranking system, we'll see how that works out. But it, even if it's not right away, later down the road, Scorpio Sky can still be like, hey, I pinned the champion. Like 1, 2, 3, middle of the ring, blah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's got that under his belt. I love the little push they're giving him because nobody expected SCU to win the championship.
They're my third
at
pick.
all. Well, yeah, because your first pick were either the Young Bucks or the Lucha Brothers.
And I say SU's the number 3 because those are guys that are always on being the elite and doing all that stuff with them as well.
I mean, I get it. I'm just saying your first 2 choices were not. And then after the Bucks lost to Private Party, you're like, well, maybe they're going to give it to the kids. Like you always knew SCU was going to be the team to be in the finals. You just always assumed that, okay, they're going to push them so far, and then the other team's going to go over.
Yeah.
At least that was my thought on it.
No, I can see
So it's
that.
good. And they're doing it with Scorpio Sky, which is great because
he's also the least known name out of SCU.
And I love his fucking TKO finisher.
Yeah.
Great.
There are some thoughts that this was too soon for Jericho to take a pin. Maybe that
But he
Scorpio Sky was not the right person to do that.
No, okay. It's not too soon for Jericho to take a pin because Jericho did not take a pin in singles action. Jericho took a pin in tag action, which I could have told you by the tag team that like this was going to be Jericho's first loss, and the fact that he got pinned just makes it puts Scorpio Sky over anyway.
It also put the tag division over.
Yeah,
it does the one thing that WWE never fucking does, and that's like build up your champion, like a team that's been together for a long time, a team with chemistry, a team that is an actual tag team should always beat a team that is not a tag team. It doesn't matter who
on
the
paper,
fuck they are.
Sure.
So I mean, they stuck by that logic, which is it's refreshing. Because normally, like sometimes in WWE, like the 2-man power trip, like we're gonna put Stone Cold and Triple H together, and since they're 2 of the top guys, they're just gonna win the titles like out of nowhere for no reason.
Yeah,
but. 2 is always better than 1, and 2 people in sync is always going to be way better than 2 people that don't like each other that have no chemistry.
Well, and the fact that you typically would see the champion either get the win or there would be some kind of a disqualification or no contest.
Or a partner takes it, but Sammy G's been taking hella pins.
Yeah, so the fact that I don't think this makes Jericho look weak at all.
I think he enhanced everybody else in the match.
Especially like the way he got pinned. Like, no.
Right, just a roll up. It's, could happen to fucking anybody.
That seems how, it's funny because that's how Scorpio Sky has won all these matches is with just a random roll up.
Yeah.
Well, the first match would make a lot more sense because Scorpio Sky wasn't supposed to be in it.
He was wearing 1 shoe, 1 sock.
Just threw both shoes into the crowd later.
So, aside from that, we do have a ratings breakdown. Raw, we'll start with Raw. They saw the lowest non-holiday numbers ever on Monday. 2.06 million viewers. Now, okay, the show was taped. The show went up against a big game on Monday Night Football. But they lost nearly 300,000 viewers an hour, the whole show. By the end of the show,
overtime Monday Night Football.
By the end of the show, there was only 1.2 million people watching Monday Night Raw. Now, like you said, Monday Night Football went to overtime. It was a good game. The show was taped. There's probably a lot of people looking at spoilers online. Comparing that to SmackDown, SmackDown drew an average of 2.3 million viewers for the whole show. 2.4 million in the first hour, and then 2.25 in the second hour. And that was a dip from last week, and last week's SmackDown was taped. This week's SmackDown was live. That was like a 10% dip. Last week had 2.6 million viewers. Is this bad news for either show?
Yes, because Fox wasn't Fox looking for that 3 million mark since day one for viewership.
They're not happy.
So you're looking for that you're looking for that 3 million mark, and Fox is still. It seems like Fox is still throwing money at WWE, where WWE and Fox are just not meeting in the middle somewhere here.
I don't necessarily think it's a really bad thing for Raw, simply because of the fact that I think having it on tape delay is, in this day and age, is a big issue.
Because I already know everything that happens before I watch the show.
You knew everything that happened 3 days before it even aired.
I know. I know most of the stuff that's happening on Impact about a week or two before it happens, but I still watch.
No, I'm just saying, like, when they do the pre-tape shows and I go online and I can read exactly everything that happens word for word, like there's a script. Then, like, if I happen to not watch a certain thing or not want to watch Raw, want to watch Monday Night Football, you know what I mean? Like, I'm less likely to go back to it because I already know what happens.
Well, that and the WWE product has been piss
Garbage.
poor.
Garbage.
So you're going to read what happened and you're going to be done with it, with the exception of NXT.
And the only reason I'm reading what happened is because I have to do this show. Otherwise, I probably, like, I've been, like, had ups and downs with wrestling, and this is a period of time with WWE where if I didn't have the responsibility of having to watch everything so I could talk about it, I probably would not watch the product at all. I'd watch NXT. I wouldn't watch the other two.
Yep.
At all.
I'm in mostly I agree with that. There have been times when I would read spoilers, and then I'm like,
I mean, I'm a wrestling fan. I'm always gonna look.
Right. Or like I would watch, a synopsis on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, well, now I want to go back and watch it. You know,
I'd see if it's as bad as you say it is, or as good as you say it. Yeah. No, I get that a lot too.
AEW and NXT on Wednesday night, hovering right around the same that they have been the entire the whole way.
Around that million mark. Give or take?
Yeah, NXT this week ended up drawing 750,000 viewers. AEW just under 1 million at 957,000 viewers. It seems like for the last couple of weeks, both shows have been hovering around that, mostly with NXT, 800,000 mark. AEW, over the last 3 weeks, their ratings have increased by 200,000. So 3 weeks ago was 759, 2 weeks 822, last week 957.
Just since the World Series.
Right. So they've just been going up and up, while NXT has been a bit of a roller coaster, up, down, up, down. So right now, I think NXT most weeks still has the better show, not by much. Not to say that one's bad, but NXT still has a crisper, cleaner product, and I think that for me is what gives them the edge. I do love. I love AEW right now. I'm definitely a fan, but I love all of it.
Yeah, I love some of those focuses on the AEW, like the tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like since NXT's gone live on Wednesdays, we haven't seen too much from tag teams on NXT, which is one thing that, like, they've made focus. I do give them all the credit in the world for focusing so much more on the women in NXT. But you gotta just try to forget tag teams already in there.
Yeah, but they're also fucking setting up for War Games and Survivor Series, so give them a minute.
I think that if you took NXT's product, what they're doing as far as their in-ring work, and you put it into Raw and SmackDown, and you put that much effort into that, I think Raw and SmackDown pull over 3 million viewers a week if you started getting back into it. But not only are the storylines boring, but I'm sorry, I'm not really thrilled with the in-ring work either, for the most part. But every NXT, damn near every NXT match that you see is solid.
Agreed.
It's a brief reminder why you still watch the WWE.
Yeah. They... As far as AEW is concerned, there was some information that came out about their buys for the Full Gear pay-per-view. They hit 100,000 buys for Full Gear.
I got 2 of them. 2 of them.
That's not bad. Like, considering how people do stream things now.
They got 100,000, and there were some people that were even that they thought that was disappointing. But from my perspective, I don't think it can be very disappointing when in this day and age,
how easy it is to access it, even when it is live.
Even when it's live, you can get it for free. You can, I mean, Jesus Christ, $60 on Xfinity is what they wanted for this pay-per-view.
For what? Full Gear?
For Full Gear, they wanted $59.99.
I paid I paid $100. I paid 50 and 50.
And
$49.99 on Bleacher Report, I believe it was.
I was
should
ready.
say, my alter egos each bought the pay-per-view.
Well, I was ready to pay for that, but I kept getting an error on my Comcast, so I ended up streaming it, watching it for free. And some people would say, well, that's a lot of money to pay for a pay-per-view. It is if it's WWE, because WWE does that shit once a month at $60. But AEW is seeming like they're sticking with a quarterly theme.
Like one every 2 or 3 months.
And I'm fine with that because
Which is how WWE used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be, there was only
It was
four pay-per-views,
Yep.
and WrestleMania was always like 60, 70, but everything else floated around $50.
Shit, when I was a kid, they were still all 25. And
Uh-huh.
WrestleMania
in
might
your
be
house?
a little more. Yeah. But, yeah, I'm okay with that. But somebody had put on there that I want to say it was in New Zealand, they wanted somewhere around $100 US for the pay-per-view. I wouldn't have paid that. I wouldn't pay that for Mania. I wouldn't pay it for any of it.
But if you're a huge hardcore fan in New Zealand and that's all your only option.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also 2019. You get a bunch of people together, you get 5 guys together, each throw $20, whatever. It doesn't cost shit.
So, the amount of buys, it didn't surprise me. It didn't disappoint me or anything like that. One thing I do want to talk about before we go, did you guys see that 2K hack?
I glanced over it for like 2 seconds.
So 2K Video Games, their Facebook account was hacked, not only for sports, but for WWE as well, for a while. And there were shots that whoever it was, this group that hacked these pages, specifically for the WWE ones, they changed the profile picture to the AEW logo. They put a picture of Chris Benoit with the Hall of Fame logo as their cover photo across the top of the screen.
I'm already in love with these people. God damn.
They had they make updates. No matter how WWE tries, you guys can just give up because All Elite Wrestling runs the shit show along with myself, a.k.a. Newblom. Apparently, this is one of the guys that did this. They made a picture. They made a post. It said "Gang" with AW and Cody and Jericho and Moxley. They changed some profile picture to some dude. I'm not really sure who this guy is. I really couldn't tell you. He doesn't look like a wrestler or anything. The funniest thing was the Hall of Fame Chris Benoit photo that they put on there as their cover photo. They had there was some racial slurs that they were dropping on there. Even on their regular video games.
Maybe I just don't want to look at this now.
No, and it wasn't. They just like the N-word they put on there, and they were, so they put WWE is fake, and Newblom the fucking god. Who fucking cares? But I thought it was pretty funny that, and I mean, it went on for a while. The Benoit thing was the best. So I'm surprised you guys didn't see that because it was.
Listen, I kind of was in the middle of something. I just kind of
Yeah.
glanced over and never went back.
When you
look at it.
kind of expected it to go away quick, but it was for a couple hours that this dude was pulling this shit. That's all we really got. NXT did announce that they're going to have NXT UK Takeover from Blackpool Sunday, January 12th, 2020.
Hey, that's
yeah, because that first takeover, that UK Takeover was great.
well, it's a takeover, so you already know it's going to be the
always
home.
going to be great. So coming up this week, we have NXT Takeover War Games on Saturday. That's going to be the day before our show. we're going to be filling out pro wrestling scorecards sometime throughout the week. I think for a Saturday show, they release them Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Now they've moved that. So
we got a lot of scorecards.
We got a lot of scorecards coming up next week, and you should too. You definitely check out ProWrestlingScorecards.com. They're gonna be releasing some new beta codes soon, so you can get on their digital platform. But you can definitely print out their scorecards and join us with our takeover picks and our Survivor Series picks. And next Sunday,
What did you guys get on
Full Gear?
not 99. Nas got 99 on
You're
Full Gear.
fucking damn right I did. Every single match I got right.
Nas got a 99. I was at an 85.
I was at 81.
Smitty got 81. Joe got 80, and Mikey got like a 7 or something.
Oh, wow. Like, I'm killing y'all.
Not by that. There's still 2
By
more
20.
shows.
Yeah, that's fine.
But you're up by just about 14 points on me. 19 on
Yeah, it'll
Smitty.
put my record for pay-per-views at like 1-1. So where would that put me on our power ranking? Like,
Well, this is
dead
the
last?
first one for Nas, isn't it?
Second.
Okay.
I forgot to fill out the scorecard.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so we're going to be filling out those scorecards throughout the week, and then we'll talk about Survivor Series scorecard next week. We'll review what happened on TakeOver the night before. Next Sunday, we're going to be at B-Dubs on Randolph Street in downtown Detroit. I believe the show for us starts at 5 p.m., if I'm not mistaken.
No, for us, we got to be there early.
So we're going to be downtown. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to do the scorecards live. We're going to be watching Survivor Series. Come check it out. And there's no cover. It's family friendly. Just make sure you tip your server and do work.
And this actual Survivor Series seems like it's going to be worth watching for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, for sure. But aside from that, we are your ring crew.
Captain Insano.
What? Nas.
And Nick, one tit. And we are out.